Hey, it's Dr. Toby here. In this video, I want to show you the #1 exercise to get rid of neck pain after having a neck surgery. If you're somebody who's watching this video who's had a surgical procedure and that was your hope or expectation to relieve that neck pain, but it's only made it worse, I want to show you the #1 exercise that's going to help you turn that around. And at the end of the video, if you stay tuned long enough, I'll explain to you why the neck procedure actually didn't help, but it made things worse. So let's jump right into this. So the first exercise I want to demonstrate for you is called an upper trap stretch. We want to stretch your upper trap muscle, and what you're going to do is you're going to be facing forward. Sometimes it can even help to do this in the mirror. What you'll do is you'll take your ear and you'll drop it to the shoulder. So let's say the discomfort is on this right side of my shoulder or right side of my neck. I'm going to drop my opposite ear to the other side. And it's really great to do this exercise on both sides, typically in general, because usually after the surgical procedure, even though you might have one side that has a lot more pain, both sides still may be uncomfortable. So you drop that head down to the side and you just hold it there. Now, obviously, everyone's going to have a different level or amount of motion. For most people, after the neck procedure, like a surgery, right, most people are still having chronic pain 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months after, right? Like, it's normal that after a procedure, you might have some pain in the next couple of days or whatever the case may be, and different kinds of discomfort. But most of the time, for people who've had chronic issues for a long time, like the surgery was years ago or several months ago, and they're still having pain after doing therapy and things like that, I'm showing you the exercise that's going to be very, very essential to help. And you might have been introduced to this before, but it's going to be very helpful. You want to start off by, #1, doing what you can, right? More pain doesn't mean more progress. But even though the activity might be painful, you want to do it to a degree where the pain is on a scale of mild, moderate, severe. It's more on the mild side to maximum, maybe like moderate, right? So hold that position. Most people are going to be turning their head or kind of looking up, but just kind of keep your head focused straight, which is why doing it in front of a mirror is going to be helpful. 30 seconds, doing 3 repetitions. And then on the other side, same kind of concept. You want to make sure that your face is straight, not your nose turned up or your nose not turned down. Keep your face nice and straight. Now, the next exercise I want to show you, and you might be thinking, well, I thought it was the #1 exercise. Well, what I want to show you is that the #1 exercise that is going to be helpful for you is called the SMS method. It is an exercise category. It's a category of exercises that are combined together to produce a particular effect. So it's not necessarily a one exercise that fits all. It's a combination of exercises that the combination of those exercises thrown together is actually the activity that you perform that causes there to be relief. And I'll explain to you why in the end of the video if you stay tuned. But anyways, the next exercise is levator trap stretch. So we're going to be stretching this muscle. If you ever felt like you have that band kind of pain, it's like a band, it's like tight, right? I want to show you how to address that. You're going to turn your head to one side. You're going to look down, kind of like you're looking at your armpit, and hold that position right there. Now, if that feels like a good enough stretch, that's great right there. You're going to feel that stretch all the way down there. And then you can also make it a little bit more intense, putting that hand, resting it on the head to kind of pull it a bit more. But this might even be enough for a lot of people. So holding that position right there is going to be very helpful. And obviously do it on the other side as well. Again, turn your head, look at that armpit and let your head just hang. And everyone's going to have a different amount of motion. That's fine. Do what you can. And as time progresses, what you're doing is you're using this combination of exercises to help heal the tissue and to relax your nervous system. So let me show you the other exercise that's going to be very helpful and critical. So the next exercise I want to demonstrate for you is called a seated trunk twist. So what you're going to do is you're going to be here in this position, sitting down on some kind of chair surface. You're going to take one hand, put it against your inner thigh. And what you're going to do, there's a few ways you can do this. You can have your hand right on your neck. And what you're going to do is rotate that body. I want to use some force with this hand and really push against my inner hip, inner thigh, and really rotate. Most people don't realize that mobility is so important. It's not just stretching, but when you stretch, like when you do this stretch, then followed up by mobility activity, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to open up that upper back. Those joints in your spine are going to help to provide relief to the neck area. So we're here, we rotate, and 3 to 5 second holds are good. Obviously, you can do the other side as well. And that feels so good. Even not having had any kind of thing happen, when you relieve some of the places that are restricted, it's going to help free up some of the other areas where either you got an infusion or you've got some kind of other procedure or injections done. You're going to open up that spine. It's going to feel much better. But this is just one of the exercises in series. So we showed you the first one, which is the stretches, the mobilization, and now we're doing the mobilization. So let me show you the other exercise that's going to be helpful, which is we're going to be here taking some weights. And what you want to do, this is going to be amazing for some people who don't realize that a lot of the tension and the pain that you're still experiencing after surgery is coming from some of those adjacent areas that really have just been really traumatized by the surgical procedure. But you take some weight. Doesn't need to be heavy weight, but you start off with something small. So what we have our clients do is we're going to have them start with something pretty light for them. They're going to be sitting down in a chair and they're going to be holding a weight, and they stand up and they sit back down. Now this is a great exercise because what you're going to be doing is indirectly mobilizing that spine through the force of gravity and the weights that are opening up your upper spine, your neck area, through pulling on the shoulder. So we want to perfect choose the best and the most appropriate weight. If it's really, really light, it may not give you the same effect, but this is still a good exercise in general. But to really get the best effect, you have to have the right amount of weight that you're carrying. And so typically we're going to work with our clients and tell them, hey, this is probably too much weight for you. This is the perfect ideal weight. But that's going to make a very big difference for them because they're going to be able to feel that relief almost immediately when it comes to the neck. And so again, what we always explain to people is more pain does not mean more progress. When you're doing the right exercises, you're going to have more relief. And so other exercise, what we want to do, so the exercise that you want to think about, again, it's a combination of exercises, but just doing one doesn't mean that you've actually achieved the entire exercise protocol. This exercise protocol is the SMS method, which is how we rewire the nervous system to relax, especially if you've had chronic pain after a procedure. And so what we do is we're going to take this resistance band and do some simple rows. We're going to be here in this position and we're going to pull those shoulders back, right? Starting off, we might do a few repetitions, like 10. But the ideal place of where we want to be is doing some 3 to 5 second holds. And we're really squeezing those shoulder blades together. Really want to squeeze those shoulders, just like so. And as you do that, what we're working on is helping to stabilize and provide some counter forces to where all the pressure, where you feel those knots or that tightness and grinding, we want to create some counter forces that relieve the pressure from the area of high pressure. So depending on where you're feeling that discomfort in the neck region, we want to get this middle back area really activated and really get that nice and strong to relieve some of the pressure and the tension that's up at the neck. And so that's going to be a super important exercise. Now, those are the exercises that we really explain to our patients that make a very big difference for them, especially if they've had 2 or 3 procedures. We've had several, had one guy, he had a procedure, he got physical therapy, and then he had to get another procedure for the same thing because the surgical procedure didn't go too well or had so much pain. So what is the moral of all this? Why are we kind of going through all these things? Well, these are exercises, and even though we're talking about the #1 exercise, this is the #1 exercise method that has been helpful for patients to be able to, after a neck surgery that failed, that didn't go well, right? Maybe they were told you had a bulging disc or arthritis or some kind of stenosis or herniated disc in your neck, got the procedure, but the neck pain is still there, right? Like, what happened? Like, is my problem fixable? Am I irreparable? Well, here's the thing. There's a couple things you have to realize about what happens when you get that kind of surgery and it fails. You have to realize that your nervous system is completely flared up, right? What I found working with literally dozens of patients who've either gotten neck procedures and we saw them afterwards, or they saw us before and they wanted to avoid it and they were able to, is that they don't realize that when you cut open a person's body and begin to affect different structural placement of how they are, like fusing joints together, right? What you're affecting is their nervous system most of all, because their nervous system is like, well, this is very different. We're not able to move the same way we used to be able to move. And that just flares a lot of things up. Everything becomes really aggravated. And so a lot of people are dealing with the aggravation of their body not being able to tolerate what happened. And then some people are dealing with the fact that fusing the spine didn't change the fact that they still had issues that are now being trickled down to other places in their spine, right? So if you think about like a domino effect, right? Just because you knock one domino down, it actually means that more dominoes are going to begin to have problems. So more people sometimes experience that they start to have the pain in their neck spread after the procedure. But here are the 3 things of why this SMS method works, right? Because what happens is you have to first reset your nervous system to relax everything, to get things to calm down. Then number two, you want to restore normal sensation where your body can start to just feel normal, just being at rest. And some people, they no longer have rest anymore, where they're sitting down doing regular everyday things and they're just always aware of their neck. It's always throbbing. There's always something going on. So we have to reset the nervous system and restore normal sensation. And then number three, we have to relax the soft tissue. So part of what the SMS exercise method is, this is why this is the number one exercise to do to help relieve that neck pain after a surgical procedure, is because it's not just target the muscle, stretch it, or make the joints feel more loose or improve the range of motion. It's actually targeting all of the things that would have saved a person from getting the surgery in the first place. Number one, it's relieving the muscles, restoring the joint space, and then helping to stabilize that amount of motion and movement in the joint space that we restore. So I know that was a lot of information, but hopefully you found it helpful. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel to get more helpful content, as we're going to be sharing, and we always share information for how to help you stay healthy, pain-free, fit, and mobile, and to have more confidence to live a pain-free life and be the most fulfilled that you could possibly be. So Dr. Toby here signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.